And now for another episode of Confessions of an Online Psychic with your host, novelist, filmmaker, and authentic psychic, Dave Thompson.
Hey everybody, it's Dave, and I'm an authentic psychic, and today's episode is about relationships and being a psychic. Now, if you know my history, you know I've always had these psychic things happen to me. And in my 20s, I started having dreams, and these dreams would come true, and they used to kind of freak me out. And that's when I discovered that so-called normal people don't react very well when they find out that you're a psychic. It's kind of odd, you know. I can be a photographer and be around models, and I can date non-models, and they're usually okay with it, yet there's still a little bit of jealousy because, oh my God, I'm around all these beautiful women. But from the converse point of view, let's say, because I've known several models, I know one lady who was in Playboy multiple times, and she was finally found a guy that was open-minded enough to accept her for who she was, that, you know, her naked body is in all these websites and magazines. It takes a special kind of person to understand this. The same thing applies to people who are psychic, you know. There's very little understanding among mainstream people about what our limitations are as psychics and what we're able to do, and how you just can't get shit past one of us. You know, if you're pulling some shit in a relationship, the psychic was going to find out without having to go through your cell phone. Well, now most of my experiences dating, of course, you know, off and on after being married, word about my ex-wife, very skeptical about this. She just has no idea at all what it's like to be psychic, and she is skeptical. I used to write out cards and say, okay, this is going to happen to you. I see it. I put it in a piece of paper, an envelope, and it will occur. I'll have her open the envelope, and she'll say I faked it somehow. Or she will see something happen that it really would, but it never would really sink in that this is an actual talent. And so, but anyway, back when I was in my 20s, the dream started, and I was seeing a young lady, and I told her about him, and she freaked out. I mean, I had no idea that she was from such a religious type family where they just freaked the fuck out. I mean, her father was sending over books about the dangers of Satan, Lucifer, the devil, and being psychic, you know. And it's like, whew, boy, as pretty as this girl was, as well as we got along together physically, you can't be with somebody who doesn't understand just exactly what you're going through. We're two different types of people. So after that, I really didn't tell too many people. In fact, I would say only maybe 10 or 15 people on my Facebook friends list know that I do magic and that I'm psychic. And you know, that's the thing. See, I even had this one girlfriend in the early 90s who kept trying to shock me, kept trying to surprise me. And I would know it before she hit, and yet she was, you know, she understood that I was a psychic, but she kept trying to sneak stuff past. I said, you know, darling, you know, I know you have bisexual tendencies, you know. Being a photographer, doing what I did, I'm all for that, you know. That opened up a whole new realm right there. And so, and then also, too, being an empath, you can kind of tell a little bit how that person is feeling. And there'd be times I'd be around somebody and they'd be acting all nervous. I'm wondering why they're nervous. Why am I nervous? And then I realize they're nervous. And sometimes, I'm surprised when my empath starts acting up again. Being empathic, I'm feeling things. I thought I had it under control. It's like thinking you have a housebroken puppy, and then one day you step in a wet spot on the carpet, and it's like, well, shit, I thought I had this cured. So, but the biggest thing that happened though is there's this woman that I met through a pre Facebook type of social site, and she wanted to meet with me for lunch. She self-proclaimed psychic. I didn't really talk about a lot about being it, and so we met for lunch. Kind of hit it off. A very attractive woman. Um, and at the same time I met her, I met a model that I was starting to work with who is basically Victoria's Secret's type of model. And so, that's where my brain went. And so it was one Saturday afternoon, we were doing a photo shoot with this model, and she says, I like older guys. Why don't we start seeing each other? I'm just like, yeah. But I still had a date that night with the lady who was psychic. So I go on the date. I tell the other girl, whose name I actually remember, Shannon. I tell her, I said, well, I've got plans this evening, but we can certainly do something Sunday afternoon into the evening, maybe take my kid. And she's like, all for that. Great. So I go to this other date. And we had dinner. Now we're at a place, a brew pub place in downtown Austin. I think it was the Copper Tank. And she just looks at me. She goes, I've been trying to read you all night long, and I can't get anything. And that was making her angry. I said, well, I don't want people reading me without my permission. And so we let it drop, and things just got a little weird at that point. And then it kind of proved a little bit later, too, that she was a little bit off her rocker. And so, yeah, it was better for me to hang out with Shannon than it was. And Candace just loved this young lady, too. She, like I said, Victoria's Secret style model. She's actually the girl. If you go to my photo site, dtphoto.com, you will see the first picture you see is of the model. So we were together quite a while. Okay. Oh, well, I also brought up my daughter, Candace. Kids get frustrated when their parent is psychic. Even though they are going to have the ability to be a psychic, they get frustrated because they know they can't get away with stuff. Now, normal parents, you have an intuition, okay, the kid's getting into something, they've done something, we don't know what. I would get details about what my daughter was trying to pull. I mean, it would so frustrate her, especially when she was a younger teenager. I would tell her exactly what it was she did. I said, you shouldn't be doing this, and I tried to, keep her protected as much as I could because of the way older people are around young women. And so, be careful. I'd also have dreams. Oh my God, I would have a dream. And anytime I saw a tornado type thing in a dream, it would be like, something shit's getting ready to happen. And it would often be, I'd look in the dream, and if the tornado was like over her school, then she did something at school that caused some issues, and I had to go deal with it. And, that was the intuition I had. Even now, she can call me, and I can go like, I just know, besides the ringtone and caller ID, I know there's either something wrong or something good's happening. So, yeah, especially if your kid is a developing psychic, that tends to freak people out. My stepmom has she's like my ex. The only people who are allowed to be psychic are old people in the Bible. Okay, well, that's it for today's episode of Confessions of an Online Psychic. The relationships, the challenges of being in a relationship when you are psychic or you're doing magical work. There's a lot of challenges there. But I like to tell people I'm still available for readings and consultations. I'm calling calling it consultations. For example, if you're having issues manifesting and you can't wait for the re-release of High Magic, then contact me and I can set up, we can set up a one-to-one, meeting via Zoom or another method where I can assist you with stuff. I'm very good at this. That's why I'm one of Lisa's teachers. And I do have to say here, towards the end of April, my photo studio will be opening up, and my time is going to be extremely limited to the consultations and readings. Right now, if you book a reading, you'll see a lot of time slots available. After I start the photo studio going, it's going to be like it was in the past. It's going to be a lot of work over the weekends. I tend to do photos late at night, and that's also the same time I do readings. So, and I'm manifesting a return to what it was like back when, back in the 90s, with that model when I was making easily $15,000 to $20,000 a month as a photographer. So, and also I've got this feeling I'm going to meet some important actors, and that will help further my film career. So that's kind of a heads up. So I'm not sure exactly how restricted I will be for readings, but I think it probably dropped to one or two available days a week. That's it. I'm Dave, and this is another episode of Confessions of an Online Psychic, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.